Welcome to the Rebellion Brewing podcast. I'm your host, Matthew Barton. Today I'm talking with Greg Moore. You might recognize him from the Justin and Greg show, where he and his co-host Justin get up to all sorts of shenanigans, including Vegas nights, power-eating chicken nuggets.
How do you feel?
I don't feel good at all. Like my body's shaking on the inside.
And blowing up beer cans with us at Rebellion.
I nearly got bowled over from Greg screaming like a little girl, running away. Of course, no cameras caught it, but it happened.
Greg has been a big supporter of what we're trying to do at Rebellion, and that means building up the local scene, raising awareness about all the cool stuff that's going on in our city, and that includes food and beer and music and more. Greg, welcome to the show.
Matt, thanks for having me. We're here. You were very well spoken.
Thanks, man.
Is that all ad hoc, or are you reading that off a script?
It's a little bit of a script.
We always talk about playing to your strengths. So if you're a script guy, go script. If you're all ad lib, go ad lib.
I don't think I'm smart enough for all ad lib.
Well, I think it's just different. You know, it's just a different world of communicating. I don't do well with scripts because I can't make it seem natural like you just did. So anyway, it's good to be here.
It's great to have you on the show, man.
Inside the Rebellion office for the first time. It's nice. It's a little bit less lively than the tap room, but that's okay.
We call it the ghetto.
This is the ghetto?
Yeah.
It's a comfortable ghetto. It works, though.
Luckily, there's no aroma right now.
In here.
We're right beside the bathrooms.
Oh, that's too bad. It's kind of a bittersweet thing, hey?
All bitter.
Yeah.
No sweet.
I'm sorry to hear that.
So today, we're going to be drinking something that's brand new. We just tapped it a few days ago. Sour Crush IPA by Rebellion.
You got me at the IPA.
It's a 4% session ale.
Okay.
I want you to have a sip. Let me know what you think.
Right now?
Yeah, cheers.
Cheers. Not even noon.
Almost.
Whoa. Whoa. What is going on there?
It's super aggressive.
That is not what I expected when you said IPA.
Sour IPA.
Yeah. I was hoping like for the emphasis on the IPA, but that is tart, my friend.
It is not what you expected if you've never had a sour IPA before.
That is so interesting. Like when I put it in my mouth, I can taste the sour before I taste anything else.
Yeah. Huge kick.
But then it finishes like very normal.
Clean.
Yeah.
Have you had a sour before?
I usually hate sours. I usually hate them.
You hate
I had one, there was one like lemon and lime sour from, I can't remember what it was called. I had it out in Pilot Butte, but it was delicious. But because it didn't taste like a sour, right? So this is a capital sour. It's fine. And what I like about it is it's different. I often complain about IPAs because a lot of them are just like pine needles. They just like taste like straight pine and that's all it is. And you just get bored of it. Whereas this is like, hey, we're actually going to give you something else and then bring you in to the clean finish. So yeah, it's good.
You'd recommend it?
Let me know at the end. I'll let you know at the end.
Here, have a second sip. And I find the first sip is too much and it just is not an accurate representation of the sour. Once you get through 3 or 4 sips, your palate adjusts a bit and it's easier to appreciate.
No, I would agree with that. I think at the beginning it caught me off guard, and now it's becoming a bit more subdued and controlled, I would say.
It's hard to drink anything else after you've had a sour. You either need a bigger flavor or you need more sour.
What works for a bigger flavor?
More IPA.
Okay.
I wouldn't go take this, drink this, and give it 5 stars on Untapped and then drink a lentil. You're not going to taste what the lentil's about.
Gotcha. No, it's fun. Now, is it really popular?
Sour beers are super popular in the United States.
Sure.
Super popular on the West Coast. Still haven't really caught fire in the prairies, but there are more sour options coming out.
Like, we're pretty new to the whole craft beer scene too as well, right? Isn't it like an education that needs to take place with our palates and our understanding and that sort of stuff?
There's a lot of opportunity to teach people, a lot of opportunity to raise awareness about the kinds of beers that are out there. But if you go to like Houston or Austin in Texas, there are breweries there that just do straight sour beers.
Wow.
All sour all the time.
Wow.
Yeah,
Do what you're good at.
exactly.
I couldn't do that.
Our Flanders Red,
Yeah.
it's a sour, Belgian style. It won bronze at the World Beer Cup.
I heard about that. Congrats.
Thanks.
That's a big deal.
Massive deal for Mark and Dave.
Well, and the world's a big place
Kudos to the beer team.
with lots of beer in it.
It was nice to take a win against the Europeans who've been doing this style for decades.
Well, I lived in Europe for 6 months. I went to Belgium, And I walked into this beer store and it had like 1,000 beers, 1,000 different Belgian wheat beers. And I thought, oh, like these guys have been doing this for a while. And isn't one of the most popular beers out there, like monk beers or something like that? It's really expensive. You probably know it.
The Trappist.
Yeah.
Monks, yes.
And is it that good?
There are different breweries in the world, and the Trappist monks in Belgium are known for their beer. One of our co-owners at Rebellion, his daughter is named after one of the beers.
Wow, that's intense.
Yeah.
But is it that good? Like, is the beer, if I drank it, would I be like, wow, this is amazing?
I don't know.
Because I'm pretty ignorant to my palate. You can tell listening to this podcast that it's like, wow, he doesn't drink a lot of it.
Beer geeks who know what they like and know what they love rave. They rave about these Trappist beers. They go nuts for it. They'll travel the world chasing after these beers. Is it for everyone? I would say try it at least once in your lifetime. You might not like it, but you probably will.
That's kind of how I approach beer drinking is I'll try everything once, right? Even this sour, it's like, normally would I have picked the sour off the menu? No. But now that I have, it's like, oh, okay, I'm better off for it. And it's better than I would have thought when you said the word sour IPA.
It's a real challenge to try and convince people that sour is not a bad thing. Because when you say sour, they go, oh, sour milk, and they just think of rotten milk.
Sour cream. I'm like, why would I eat sour cream when it has the word sour? Like, cream shouldn't be sour. It should be what cream is. It's not. It sounds old and gross. But how do you convince someone to drink that? If I walk into Rebellion Taproom and say, listen, I'm not a sour guy. I don't want to try anything. What do you say as someone who appreciates that to get me involved in that?
I would say start with a pitch for myself, talking to people. I'm really excited about it. So I try and share my excitement. I would say, are you a wine drinker?
Yes.
Do you drink wine? If you're a wine person, try a sour beer. If you liked Sour Blaster cherry candies that make your lips pucker and
Love
make
them.
that fish face when
Yes.
you're a little kid, try the sour. I would say those are the two kind of jumping off points to give people a frame of reference to understand this beer.
Not bad. Because sour cherry, I'm all over sour cherries.
The very first sour I had was in Evan Hunchak's basement. He's one of the co-owners of Rebellion.
Yeah.
I hated it. I was like, what did you just give me? This is awful. And then the next day I called him up and I'm like, can I get some more?
Really? What changed overnight?
I just thought about it more and I was like analyzing the flavors and it was just too weird for me at first. And then by the last sip, I was like, this is for me.
Very cool.
And I wouldn't say I'm a sour kind of flavor guy. I don't like sour cream, don't care for it. But the sour beer, I dig it.
You had a conversion experience while you slept.
Yeah. It took 24 hours.
Hey, you're a spiritual guy now.
So just to give people a sense of what Mark and Dave and the brew team were trying to do, here's the description.
Okay.
A bouquet aromas of tangerine and lime, but flavors of tart with big citrus and finish with berries.
Yeah, the citrus is there. The aroma is there. Now that I'm on I'm almost done. I don't taste the berries, but my palate's awful. It really is awful. Yeah. I'm still learning to pull that out and be a bit more sensitive to it, but.
I would say tangerine aroma's big, berries on the finish.
Yeah. But I love berries, so. And the finish is my favorite part.
Do you want more?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, let's top you up.
Don't be shy either. It's Wednesday, right? It's hump day.
Is it Wednesday?
Yep, all day.
I've lost all track of time.
Yeah, I get you.
For people who've never heard of the Justin and Greg show, for people who don't know who Greg Moore is, what the heck is TJags?
Okay, so the Justin and Greg show was started by Justin and I. I'm going to give him a lot of the credit, my business partner, Justin Rivas. So he has lived in Regina his whole life. And he wanted to start vlogging, video blogging. And so he started that a couple years ago, doing a video blog every day about Regina. So he would just go to different places, different events, and kind of capture what Regina is and what's going on. Because Regina gets a bad rap from a lot of people, not just because of the name, but people say, like, why would you live there? There's nothing to do in Regina. And he kind of sought out to change that. And one of the things that this city's kind of poor for is getting the word out about anything, right? And people say, like, oh, I wish I would have known that was happening. And nothing happened. And so he did that for a while, and then he wanted to shift because Facebook Live came around. And he said, we should do a Facebook Live show. And I've always loved content. I've loved, writing plays and directing plays and being an actor, whatever it is. I love content. So I said, yeah, let's do it.
How'd you guys meet?
almost strangers, actually. My wife and him went to school when they were young, so I knew him that he wasn't like some creepy weirdo. But we actually were running into the same circles online. We had some of the same friend group. And so I reached out to him randomly on Facebook, and I was like, hey, we should go for coffee and close this loop because you're doing cool stuff, and I want to get to know you a little bit better. So we went for coffee 2 or 3 times. And the 4th time, he said, hey, you should come do a Facebook Live show with me. I said, yep. And after the 2nd Facebook Live show, he said, you should quit your job and we'll do this full time. And so my wife had just given birth to our first child, first and only child. She was on mat leave. I had a great job working at an ad agency. And I was like, you know what? I'm ready for a change, so let's do this. So we quit and we started Pigeon Social, where we do consulting about social media and content, that sort of thing. But our real passion was the Justin and Greg Show, was making fun content and celebrating the fact that, one, like there's still good in the world, fun things to do, and believing that we can have a global impact from this city. I have friends that live in South Korea, and they're like, get out of Regina, there's nothing to do in Saskatchewan, it's backwards, it's this. And I'm like, you know what, with the way the internet is, man, I should be able to have an impact from here. I don't need to move to New York or Toronto or Vancouver or whatever it is to be able to see the world and experience the world and impact the world. And so that's what we're trying to do is, one, help put Regina on the map and celebrate things that go on here. And 2, to see if we can actually do good stuff. We like to have fun. That's what we do. We like to have fun. So,
If you had one Regina story from your time with the show, one thing that kind of stood out in your mind, what would it be?
okay, the coolest thing that happened during the show for us that I consider Regina Story is we made a video for the Vegas Golden Knights. Now, the Vegas Golden Knights, we made this campaign to try and get Saskatchewan to adopt them as our NHL team. And I stand by that. I still think it should happen, and I still think that it might happen. We did all this crazy stuff going down there and getting media passes to the locker room of the players, and I always admired Marc-Andre Fleury going up. He was the goalie for the team, and I got to interview him in the locker room during the Stanley Cup playoffs. Like, it's crazy. That should never happen, but I did it, and I live in Regina.
So that was your favorite memory from that piece?
Almost. My favorite memory was, about me, I love loser teams. I love when teams lose. So I used to be an Atlanta Thrashers fan before they folded because they sucked, and I just find that so attractive. I loved the Boston Red Sox well before 2004 because they sucked. It is history of losing. And I'm like, that attracts me because I want to be there and will a team to victory. And of course, in 2004, they finally won. And so what's happening with the Golden Knights, it was game 4, and they were getting crushed by the Capitals, who eventually went on to win. And I'm sitting there watching the game, and they're losing their composure into a new fan base. And I realized halfway through, I'm like, oh, like they don't know how to deal with this. Because the narrative's going to be, you guys are losing, and you can't come back because no one ever comes back. Well, in 2004, the Boston Red Sox were down 3-0 against the New York Yankees. And in baseball history, it had never happened before. No team had ever come back. And I remember being there being like, no, we can still do this. I don't care that it's never been done. We can do this. And so I had this idea of like, we need to make a video to remind these fans that it's not over yet. And so in the middle of game 4, I started writing the script for this thing. That night I went home and I found a song that perfectly fit the tone of the script. And so that next morning I showed Justin. Justin immediately caught the vision for it. We filmed it about an hour, edited it in about an hour, and it gave us goosebumps. We put it out online and it went like wildfire. The Vegas fans were texting us being like, we're crying right now. You've restored my hope. This is changing my day. And for us, it was like, wow, we're having an impact. But then at 4:30 p.m. on that day, the Golden Knights reached out to us. The entertainment capital of the world, widely considered the best entertainment experience in the NHL. Their VP of entertainment said, guys, I want to run through a brick wall. This is an amazing video. It's been shared around the office countless times today. We love it. We want it to be the intro video for Game 5. And so sure enough, 3 days later for Game 5, you had 2 guys, Justin and Greg from Saskatchewan. All the lights go out in the building. Boom, up pops Justin and Greg. And we got to be the video in the Stanley Cup Finals to galvanize that audience. And people said it was electric in there. That to me is so cool and surreal to say that it actually happened.
You had goosebumps.
Oh man, I had goosebumps for days. And just because having a tangible impact on someone's life, even if it's something as simple as sports, here today, gone tomorrow. And obviously they lost the game and lost the cup. But in that moment, it was like, I live in Regina, Saskatchewan. We recorded that in Justin's basement in Lakeview. And it's in Vegas. We can change the world. Like, we can have an impact from Regina. And on a bigger scale, you've got AGT Foods, who is doing the same thing. Or you've got Rebellion, that you're winning world awards. This city actually has things that we can offer the world and have an impact, even though we don't have, New York or LA. So
To put it into context, how many times have the Vegas Knights gone to the finals?
once. They've only been around, this was their first year.
So for somebody who has no hockey knowledge, how common is it for a team on their very first year to go all the way to the
Never.
finals?
It's never happened before. They're widely considered the greatest expansion franchise in sports history, because what they did was unprecedented.
And you got to be a part of that.
Yeah, and we were there. They brought us in for game 1 of the playoffs. People said, "Are you guys coming back?" We said, "We'll be back for the Cup final." And sure enough, they went to the Cup final, and we were back for it. So, good to see 2 games there. It was surreal, and even talking about it now, it doesn't feel real, but it happens.
So what's coming up next for Justin and Greg's show?
Yeah, that's good. Good question. So we started a podcast, Justin and Greg podcast. Episode 4 went out today. We used to do our Facebook Live show. We realized that we needed to pivot, and so we killed it. We might resurrect it again with a panel and that sort of stuff. But we started a podcast. For us, it's more and more content, and learning about how it works and how to tell other businesses, organizations what they can do. Because we actually believe that organizations, big or small, can take advantage of social media.
Regina, 5 years from now, where do you want to see it?
Ooh, so 5 years from now, Regina will have the controversial Connexus in the park. Connexus Bank is going to be in the park, but they're bringing an accelerator with that. People I don't think they fully comprehend what that's going to do for our culture. Because right now, we've got this university with business students in it, and entrepreneur mindset is growing. People say it's better in Saskatoon.
#Audacity.
#Audacity. But like, we've got Path co-work space opening up. I think it's open now or next week, just above the Hilton, or connected to the Hilton up there. And we have this co-work space, or this accelerator going in there. I hope we have a Deadpool statue too downtown. Like, why wouldn't we do that?
Why can't we have a Deadpool statue?
Because the mayor said no. They were going to crowdfund one back when the first Deadpool came out, because Wade Wilson, the character, is from Regina. You know this.
A hush falls over the crowd as rookie sensation Wade W. Wilson out of Regina, Saskatchewan lines up the shot. His form looks good. Oh, that's why Regina rhymes with fun.
I signed the petition and I offered to throw in $50.
Yeah. Like, the mayor said no. And I was like, what? Like, how cool would that be for Regina? Have you been downtown to the City Hall?
Yeah.
We have a lot of statues down there.
Yeah.
And I don't know the story behind all of them, but some of them I'm like, Confucius is at my City Hall? Like, welcome, Confucius. But like, I'm not sure how you're relevant to this place versus Deadpool. And as a tourist thing, I'm like, that would be cool. If we had a Deadpool statue, 1, Marvel would love that. 2, people would come from all over to get a statue with Wade Wilson, or a picture with Wade Wilson. You know they would.
I want Deadpool to be right beside Confucius, but he's kind of riding him like a stripper pole.
I mean, that would be a very Deadpool thing to do, right?
Yeah.
It's that sort of stuff where I'm like, that to me has personality. People in Regina are very funny. We're hardworking, we're outgoing, and we're good people. And how do we find ways just to celebrate that? Because we've always been bad at celebrating our successes and being comfortable with being excellent.
I think the city should loosen its tie.
Yeah.
And I think we should be able to laugh at ourselves a little bit. And I think that begins maybe with the Experience Regina video, where we can have fun with it and own it and laugh at ourselves, but also lift ourselves up by just saying, this is us and we're having fun.
Absolutely. The best comedians in the world, and also like your best friends in the world, know what they're bad at and know how to make fun of themselves. That is endearing. If we as a city can figure out how to endear ourselves to the rest of the world, our name is Regina. It sounds like, a body part. We all know that. That's funny. We're tired of the joke now, but like the Experience Regina, that's a part of who we are. Okay, well, let's make fun of it, you guys. It's okay. It doesn't define us, right? Like I always make fun of myself. I mumble. You'll hear in this podcast that I talk too fast. You can't understand me. I make fun of that. That's part of who I am. Do I like that about myself? No. Am I working to change it? Yes, but it doesn't change who I am. Like we need to loosen our tie. Absolutely. I would sign that petition. Loosen your tie, Regina. I'm not against ties. Ties look great, but
We just need to relax and just be comfortable with trying new things, trying to do our best, and supporting one another.
I love that philosophy.
Experience Regina.
It's why I'm always excited to see you in the tap room.
It's one of my favorite places. I'm excited to go there for a number of reasons.
Thanks for coming on the show today, man.
Thanks for inviting me.
Rebels, thanks for tuning in this week. If you want to find out the latest news about Rebellion Brewing, be sure to check us out on Facebook, Instagram, and Untappd. You can also find Greg and Justin on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. They're everywhere. Just look up their Uber tractor video. You'll have a good time. Thanks for joining the Rebellion.